Ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
We'll see how Team Beef is working to tell the story of beef nutrition. Plus, we'll visit the Nebraska State Fair and take a trip to an award-winning ranch in Hawaii.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. In our news this week, thousands of runners have participated in marathon and half marathon races from coast to coast this year. And at many of those events, a group known as Team Beef is there competing and demonstrating that beef is an ideal protein to fuel health and performance. Sharon Alseth has more in this report.
No matter the race or your pace, completing a marathon takes hours of training as well as a healthy diet. Team Beef is a nationwide group of athletes who compete in races all across the country. Team Beef members believe beef is an essential food that gives them fuel for the finish.
For one, it's a natural source of protein. You know, with something that's natural like beef, you know, you don't have to worry about how is this going to affect me later. Really, it's that complex protein that really it allows you to recover correctly.
Team Beef runners competed in this year's Boston Marathon. There, during the John Hancock Sports and Fitness Expo, thousands of visitors streamed through the Beef Checkoff-funded information booth, where the National Beef Ambassadors answered questions and told the story of lean beef, nutrition, and performance.
We've had so many people coming by, trying our samples, picking up recipes, asking questions. Hey, I'm a runner and I get tired when I'm running. What can beef do to help me? So it's just been great.
The Beef Checkoff is here to promote beef, and that's our part, making sure that producers still have demand for their product. So we're here educating consumers about the nutritional profile of beef, why it should be in their diet, and we've got thousands and thousands of people here that, you know, they need to know about beef because, you know, they need a protein source when they're done running and to make sure that they're fueling for that finish each and every day.
In addition to providing good information, the Beef Ambassadors also handed out more than 4,000 lean beef sticks to Expo participants, providing a sample of Team Beef's fuel for the finish. I'm Sharon Alseth reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Joining us now to tell us more about the hardcore group of beef advocates is Darren Williams. He's the Executive Director for NCBA Communications and a proud member of Team Beef. Well, Darren, as the bike and the shirt exemplifies, you are an actual member of Team Beef. Tell us a little bit about the program.
Well, you know, Team Beef started, Kevin, about 6 years ago when a group of NCBA employees got together and signed up for the Chicago Half Marathon. And we said, you know, we need team jerseys. So we went out and had some Team Beef jerseys made, and a few of us did the run that year, and the response to the jerseys was overwhelming. So we decided then, the State Beef Council said, this is a great idea. We ought to pick this up and do this all across the country at events. So that's grown now to running events, as we saw in the clip there, Boston Marathon runners, which I think is so cool. Cycling events and even triathlons. The Idaho Beef Council sponsors an Ironman 70.3 triathlon.
Wow. Well, tell us more about the role that Team Beef plays in promoting our product, and maybe you can expand on some of the states and how they get involved in this program.
Well, the reason we created Team Beef, actually, because one of the first runs we did as a group here in Denver, there was a national roast beef chain that was handing out chicken sandwich coupons at the end of the race. And I said, now, why would you be handing out chicken sandwiches? And they said, well, because these athletes, you know, they're healthy, so they want to eat chicken. Oh. We said, oh, come on. Beef is a part of a healthy lifestyle. Yeah. And so we demonstrate that by getting out and finishing marathons, half marathons, long-distance cycling events, triathlons. And really the cool thing about it is it taps into the passion of people who already love beef and enjoy beef, and also see that beef is a part of a healthy, active lifestyle.
That's outstanding. And tell us this, you're not only involved in Team Beef, but you're also majorly involved in another advocacy program, the MBA program. Tell folks about your responsibilities there. Yeah,
the cool thing about the Masters of Beef Advocacy program and Team Beef is that it taps into that passion of farmers and ranchers, just really anybody who loves beef. And it doesn't use a lot of checkoff resources, frankly, because that's a resource that we have that was underutilized before. The Masters of Beef Advocacy is an online series of courses you can go through to get engaged in social media conversations on Facebook and Twitter and through blogging, to really engage consumers in conversations to answer their questions about beef. Okay. Consumers have a lot of questions about how beef is raised. They don't all raise cattle like you do, Kevin, right. So they don't know. So we want to be there when they go online and do that Google search. We want them to find a farmer or rancher to get an answer firsthand from somebody who does it every day.
So real quick, what would you tell our viewers at home who might have an interest in either participating in Team Beef or MBA?
Well, we'd welcome anybody who loves beef and wants to be an advocate for beef in either the Masters of Beef Advocacy, a beef checkoff funded program. There's no cost to participate. You just go online and complete the courses. You can Google Masters of Beef Advocacy and you'll find us. Team Beef is also open to anybody who wants to promote beef as part of a healthy, active lifestyle. You can find us on Facebook at Team Beef USA, yeah. Or contact your state beef council. You can again find them on Google search and see if they have a Team Beef in your state, and if not, maybe you can get one started.
Well, thank you for all you're doing to promote beef and the beef industry, Darren.
Well, thank you, Kevin.
To learn more about Team Beef or the Masters of Beef Advocacy Program, log on to our website. That's cattlemen2cattlemen.org. Being in the cattle business, one of the great pleasures I have is watching my kids learn, build confidence, and make new friends by exhibiting cattle at county, state, and national shows. No doubt many families invest a lot of diesel fuel, time, and money providing those same experiences for their own children. And one of the premier facilities to show cattle these days is the Nebraska State Fairgrounds. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brad Bulla has the story from Grand Island.
The 2013 Nebraska State Fair was an 11-day, fun-filled event that drew a total crowd of more than 335,000. What sets this fair apart is the fact that it moved from Lincoln to Grand Island, Nebraska, starting in 2010.
It's been very good. The people in Nebraska are loving it. It's centralized. Nebraska is a very agricultural state. We just get nothing but praise about our nice big facilities.
It's been great. Grand Island has welcomed us here with open arms. We have an amazing volunteer program. We're more centrally located in the state. And it really, again, gives us the real chance to recognize agriculture and promote agriculture. As you could tell on our fairgrounds, the biggest, newest buildings you see all are cattle barns, hog barns, sheep barns. So that's really our strong emphasis.
The State Fair, I believe this is the fourth year in Grand Island. The facilities are just awesome. And, this facility is getting used more and more by junior breed organizations. It's clean, it's new, it's cool, and it's been a real refreshing change. And then they have super volunteer turnout from this area.
All the facilities are excellent. I mean, they're state of the art. There isn't any better facilities in the nation. And I kind of miss the nostalgia of being at Lincoln, but it was time for a move, and it was a very good move.
The Nebraska State Fair has been revitalized by the move to Grand Island. Located near the center of what is known as the Beef State, the fair is gaining a national reputation for the quality of its facilities, especially the design of the cattle barn.
My role, I'm attributed to saying I designed all the interior features of the buildings. Another individual, Tam Allen, and I collectively predominantly designed all the buildings. He did the outside and the lineup. I did the inside and the features, and I wanted to make sure we did things differently. Some of the most unique features that we're known for is our wash racks, which is a whole nother story. But we were fortunate enough to end up with 4 wash racks that'll wash 70 head of cattle at one time each and never lose any pressure or any volume with all 70 faucets on in every wash rack. So 280 head at one time in an enclosed, heated wash rack. That's a very unique feature. The second most unique feature is the flooring texture. And I nearly got voted off the board, almost got run out of town. Nobody could understand why I made the concrete so rough. And of course, the livestock people, hogs, cattle, sheep, horses, whatever, they absolutely love the texture of the floor, and it's worked well.
The raised ridge of the roof and big fans means the airflow keeps cattle comfortable inside, even on the hottest of days. And the new cattle barn is attracting national breed shows as people become aware of the quality of the new facility.
Oh, it's really fabulous here. Everybody loves it. It's just one of the best facilities in the country, so we really enjoy coming here.
Well, yeah, it is a wonderful facility. People that show cattle, I know I grew up showing cattle and showing it at the Nebraska State Fair, but we've got high ceilings, it's insulated, we've got fans, airs movements, wonderful wash racks, great water pressure, so it's great indoor air-conditioned show ring, so it's just a great place to exhibit cattle.
As cool as the cattle barn is inside, the competition in the show ring is heating up, as even out-of-state contenders are joining in the fun at the Nebraska State Fair.
We had an awesome day. Great limousine and Limflex show here. It's the first time we've come to Nebraska State Fair. And Ashlyn, tell them how you did.
Well, I was champion limousine female with my cow-calf pair, and I also won supreme female.
Big surprise.
Blessed is the only word I can think of. The cow has been awesome, and I love her to death. And I just can't believe we won.
Oh, I just welcome people to the Nebraska State Fair. It's a beautiful facility, very hospitable people, and obviously Nebraska is such a huge cattle state that you can find a lot of good cattle here at the Nebraska State Fair.
In Grand Island, I'm Brad Bulla reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Our family certainly made some wonderful memories at this year's Nebraska State Fair. To find out more about the Nebraska State Fair and other cattle industry events, or to view full episodes of our show, just visit our website at cattlementocattlemen.org. Coming up on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
We're really fortunate that we have a nice blend of cattle ranching, conservation, and kind of visitor recreation business.
We'll visit a family ranch in Hawaii to see how they care for their land and their cattle. Plus, we'll visit with Dr. Kevin Hill about the value of a complete animal health program for your calves. We'll be right back.
You're watching NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen on RFD TV. New Holland is smart for the way you farm. And New Holland round balers are smart for the way you raise cattle. By focusing on making the densest bale possible, New Holland round balers pack more into each bale, saving you time, fuel, and money. Now that's smart. We can also match your feeding requirements with a variety of bale slicing, cutting, and wrapping options to help maximize your time. Plus, with models designed specifically for silage or specialty crop harvest, New Holland gives you the power to make smart choices to fit your farm or ranch. You work hard to get the most out of every hay season to benefit you and your cattle. From mower conditioners to balers and tractors, New Holland has the right solutions to help you make quality hay and forage for your cattle operation. Visit your New Holland dealer to learn more about the complete lineup of New Holland equipment, in addition to all the benefits available to cattle producers.
This business can take time away and become more of your family than your actual family. My days were tough. I had a lot of doctoring, a lot of pulling. Now our days on the feed yard are happy days. It's more about looking at the cattle and enjoying what we're producing versus the alternative, which is pull and treat and bang our head against the wall. We have never wavered from Draxon. We've seen the benefits just keep getting better and better.
Each fall, calves face the greatest health challenge of their lives as they move off farms and ranches and are commingled in feedlots. Joining us to talk about some of these challenges is Dr. Kevin Hill, a technical services veterinarian with Merck Animal Health. Dr. Hill, thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, fall runs in full swing right now. Tell us about some of the challenges that creates for calves.
Well, if you think about it from the calf's perspective, this is a big disruption in his life. We start generally in gathering these cattle from wide open spaces and collecting them, separating the calves from the cows, vaccinating, processing, load them on trucks, send them maybe a day's trip away, unload them with a lot of new friends, and turn them out to feed they probably haven't seen before and don't know where the water is, all sorts of things. So this is a big time challenge for them in lots of ways.
Well, specifically, what kind of health problems does this new scenery and new conditions create for those calves?
undoubtedly the biggest problem the whole beef industry faces in terms of health is respiratory disease. And so that's exactly what happens to these calves. They are presented with new bacteria and virus exposures that they haven't seen before, and so doubled with that stress factor, then respiratory disease is a big issue.
We talk a lot about the costliness of BRD. What are some things that producers should consider in managing it effectively?
I like to think of it as two primary factors that they need to manage. One would be stress, and the other is trying to supercharge the calf's immune system, if you will. And so in terms of managing stress, we talked about all those things that happen sometimes in a very short period of time. So if we can spread those out so that gathering and weaning and processing don't all happen on the same day, they don't get shipped until after weaning, ideally, that can help manage stress a lot. And then in terms of trying to improve the status of their immune system, then we're talking about vaccinations and things like that to help prepare them better.
Well, I want to follow up about this concept of immunity because it's so important. What are some things producers can do to really turbocharge or enhance that immune response?
Generally, the things that we recommend would be to try to get 2 rounds of vaccination into the calves before they're going to ship into the feedlot. And so if they can do that, and additionally, again, if they can wean those calves for 30 to 45 days, those are the things that help that immune system the most.
You know, I know as a cow-calf producer, we always believe it's so important to get colostrum in the calves right up front, right? And so assuming we've done that, then what else can we think about throughout that calf's lifestyle to begin building immunity even earlier?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned colostrum because it's the effects of not getting enough colostrum at birth extend clear in not just in the suckling phase but into the feedlot phase. We know that calves that didn't get enough colostrum at birth have a much higher risk of disease and death in the feedlot. So that's number one. And then as the protection from those maternal antibodies starts to drop off over 3 to 4 months of age, then that calf needs to start developing its own active immunity. And that's where the vaccination programs come in to help stimulate that immune system.
So specifically, what other advice might you have for folks as they approach fall weaning time? You said, first of all, try to break some of those management practices up so all the stress doesn't occur at one time. What other advice might you give cow-calf producers?
Well, there's kind of 3 basic things that producers can do. They need, number one, to develop a good vaccination schedule. They need to eliminate parasites from the calves. And in terms of vaccinations, 2 categories there really. One is respiratory disease. The other we haven't talked about is clostridial disease protection, just kind of a standard thing that should be included.
And, you know, for some folks, this may seem really, really complex. Lots of products, lots of protocols, lots of timing elements and so forth. Where can producers go to get some additional help in thinking through this?
Well, this is where having a team effect with your veterinarian is really important. I mean, he's the one that has the most relevant information as far as what diseases are prevalent in your area, as well as the area where these calves are going to ship to. When those vaccines ought to be given, which vaccines he prefers, all those kind of things are things that the veterinarian is really helpful for. So I think that interaction is really essential for a good health program.
Don't go away. We'll continue our conversation with Dr. Hill right after this.
Its arrival is as routine as the truck that brings the next load of calves. You stand ready, waiting, watching for symptoms. A revolutionary new weapon in hand, unique chemistry and hard-hitting active ingredient. Longer duration in the respiratory tract, rapid absorption. Join the Zuprevolution. Zuprevo, Tilda Pearson. See your veterinarian.
It's time to gear up for fall with big savings on John Deere hay equipment. Get 0% financing on mower conditioners, balers, and select hay tools. And for a limited time, get up to $3,600 off a new 8 or 9 series round baler. Plus, an extra $750 in-season bonus. So don't wait. Come in today before these Gear Up for Fall savings come to an end.
Dr. Hill, maybe you can explain a few of the things that Merck Animal Health has done to assist producers in this planning process as well.
Yeah, we've recently introduced a value-added program called Prime Vac, and that's just a collection of these ideas and suggestions to help producers organize what vaccines they give, when they give them, so that the result then is in that most well-prepared and healthy calf.
So outline for our viewers, if you would, the primary categories that Prime Vac encompasses.
Okay, and that would be, again, the respiratory protection. Certainly, again, as BRD is our #1 issue, it all sort of centers around respiratory protection. #2 would be clostridial protection, like blackleg, malignant edema, kind of sudden death issues typically. And the third is control of internal parasites.
Now, I know Merck has products in each of these 3 areas. Do you want to highlight a few of those?
Right. For respiratory protection, our Vista vaccines, Vista 5, for instance, has the 5 common viruses that are involved in respiratory disease. And then in Vista Once is a complete vaccine that adds the bacterial components of Mannheimia and Pasteurella to that vaccine. So we get a very nice complete respiratory protection out of the Vista vaccines.
So the second category you mentioned, I think, was clostridial. What are some specific Merck products that help protect against clostridial issues?
Again, we have a kind of a family of vaccines called Vision, and various combinations with 7 antigens or 8, or even some that have 9 with tetanus protection. So, and they can be combined with pink eye protection or with somnus protection. So we have a large group of clostridial vaccines there to work with.
And then the third category you mentioned was the parasite control. Talk to us a little bit about Merck's products, and specifically what might be different about some of Merck's internal and external parasite control products.
Yeah, Safeguard is the name of our parasite control product, and its chemical name is fenbendazole. The fenbendazole category is distinctly different from most other wormers on the market. Most of the others fall into the ivermectin class. So the importance of that these days is that there's increasing evidence that ivermectins are losing their effectiveness, and so fenbendazole, especially in combination with the ivermectins, gives outstanding control. And so getting that word out to producers and veterinarians now is really important, as they understand that these worms are changing, and so our approach to control has to change as well.
Very good. And I have to ask you the obvious question, Dr. Hill. I mean, all these things we've been talking about cost money to producers. And so fundamentally, is there a premium involved? Is there a return on investment for producers who go through these precautions and make these investments in trying to improve the health of their calves?
Yeah, we've got really good data to answer that question now, whereas before sometimes you sit in an auction and you can't see that those vaccinated calves brought any more than the neighbors unvaccinated, but especially through superior auction data, we're able to analyze that. And we know that calves that at least get those 2 rounds of vaccinations that I talked about, they'll bring approximately $25 per head more than an unvaccinated calf. And if you take that same calf and add 45 days of weaning to it, that doubles to somewhere near $50 a head is the premium. So there's a good return there for the effort that goes into it.
So it sounds like Merck's Prime Vac program really does create value for producers.
It really has that opportunity to do that by veterinarians and producers working together. The other thing that Prime Vac program is going to do is the veterinarian will be able to produce a certificate of health that will list the details of all vaccinations that have been given, and then it'll have his signature on it. So it's a nice third-party verification of the health practices that have been completed. And so in the end, what we really think it's a win for the producer, it's a win for the buyer who knows he's getting his money's worth, and so all around everybody comes out ahead.
Well, no doubt as these cattle become more and more valuable, it's really incumbent on us to do everything we can to keep these cattle healthy.
We've got a very expensive product out there these days to protect. That's right.
Indeed. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
To find out more about the value of preconditioning your calves and protecting their health, visit our website at cattlementocattlemen.org. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for high-quality Simmental or Red Angus cattle, then you should meet the folks at the Beekler Ranch in Linton, North Dakota. Their annual female sale is the second Saturday in November, and their annual bull sale is the second Thursday in February. They strive for quality over quantity, delivering bulls and females that are fully developed and performance tested.
We like to have an easy fleshing animal that has a lot of depth of body, a lot of natural thickness, a lot of natural muscling. We like our cattle to have a balanced set of EPDs.
Beekler Simmental is where you'll find Simmental and Red Angus genetics that pay. And with the right disposition, quality carcass traits, and more, Beekler bulls and females will work for you.
We like to stand behind our cattle, and we're pretty proud of what we produce.
To view the sale catalog and videos of the bulls and females offered, just visit the website johnsonbeeklersimmentals.com, or on sale day, view and bid at dbauction.com.
No storm is too powerful for new Purina Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, formulated with ultimate weather resistance. That means more minerals in the feeder and available to your cattle. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals provide more consistent intake and balanced mineral nutrition to optimize herd health and breedback rates. See the difference at your local Purina dealer or visit cattlenutrition.com. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, another way Purina is building better cattle.
We're continuing our series of profiles on the regional winners of the Environmental Stewardship Award. This week, we take you to the island of Oahu to visit the Region 6 winners to see how they're protecting the beautiful island landscape.
With 3 mountains, 2 valleys, and 5 miles of oceanfront, the 4,000-acre Kualoa Ranch on the island of Oahu features views you won't find anywhere else. The ranch was established in 1850 and remains a working cattle operation that has been owned by the Morgan family for 6 generations.
My ancestor, Dr. Judd, came to Hawaii in 1828, and he became a minister to the king. He practiced medicine, and he bought the first part of this ranch here in 1850, and it was part of the king's land.
This is a family-run operation. I'm the 6th generation here. They started out trying a bunch of different crops, and finally in the late 1800s settled on beef cattle, and it's been a beef cattle operation ever since.
Today, Kualoa Ranch serves as a favored location for movies and television shows, and the addition of a large tourism business has created opportunity to sustain the ranch. Even so, cattle are the reason the ranch exists, and their grazing keeps the valleys open for the visitors who enjoy horseback riding, ATVs, and other tours.
We're really fortunate that we have a nice blend of cattle ranching, conservation, and kind of visitor recreation business. The cattle ranch really provides the backdrop. It provides a location where people can see this beautiful scenery. Without it, it'd be a jungle, and people couldn't really appreciate the beauty. The tourism part for us provides the necessary income and the economic stability to be able to do things like invest in other forms of agriculture and really invest in the conservation efforts that we've been doing for many years.
With extensive tour operations, Kualoa Ranch now has 200 employees and up to 30,000 visitors each month. The ranch hosts a variety of groups, including 4-H members and an annual farm fair. And there's an extensive nonprofit educational program for young people.
Most of these kids live in urban Honolulu, and I think their opportunities to get out into nature, to know and understand what's on their island are limited. And currently there are about 14,000 students that come here to learn about the history, the culture, and the stewardship of the ranch.
And it's another opportunity that we have to teach our own local people, especially from a young age, the impact that good stewardship and agriculture have in a community and an economy.
The team at Kualoa is working to maintain and improve all of their natural resources. One major project is clearing stream banks of invasive trees and then reintroducing traditional Hawaiian plants and improving water quality.
It's a pretty kind of interconnected ecosystem. So we're starting at the springs and the streams, and hopefully it's going to continue its benefit all the way down to the ocean.
With a year-round growing season, Kualoa Ranch relies on rotational grazing to maximize grass production for the cattle.
The biggest difference between here in Hawaii and places on the mainland is we have a year-round growing season for everything, the good guys and the bad guys. There is no period of dormancy.
Well, one of the things about ranching in the tropics, weeds grow fast, and so we always have to be on top of the whole the weed control thing. If we don't do proper grazing management or weed control methods, it'll end up to be a jungle.
A lot of it has to do with the cattle. The cattle are like our major landscapers here. They keep the grass down and keep the invasive species out if we manage our pasture rotation properly.
In addition to cattle, Kualoa Ranch is expanding production of shrimp and fish, as well as cut flowers and other crops. And the ranch has a growing grass-finished beef program, marketing their own branded beef within Hawaii.
For us, that's another niche that we want to fill. There's a market demand for natural grass-fed beef, so we want to fulfill that market demand, and it's a good way to promote our ranch.
That's one of the things that we're definitely trying to do in all of our agricultural product development is to market it with our label on it as much as possible. We're trying to build a brand image there that will be recognized by the general population on this island.
Whether hosting visitors or working with the cattle, the Morgan family takes pride in honoring Hawaiian culture and in caring for their historic land every day.
In the future, I think that they will continue to steward this place and share it with the community and with people around the world. I hope that it will just get better and better.
I would like to see us as being a showcase for what can be done economically to preserve an incredibly beautiful place and keep it in agriculture. As the years have gone by, we've one by one seen the old-time cattle ranches succumb to development pressure, and we don't want to do that. We want to preserve it.
Stewardship is something that runs in our blood. We're fortunate, to have people that have come before us that have really taken the stewardship responsibility seriously. So when I go riding around, I know that I'm honoring the legacy of my ancestors and hopefully setting a good example for the future.
Help NCBA members improve the environmental sustainability of our industry by becoming a member of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Just give us a call at 1-866-USA-BEEF or email us at C2C@beef.org. We'll be back with more after this.
Tough trailers built for tough country. Big Ben Trailers manufactures a different kind of trailer, one that's built to put up with the rough conditions found on the ranch. Rugged build using heavy-gauge powder-coated steel and a 2x4 rectangle tube frame. There's a 1-inch gap between the side and floor, so there's no place for water or manure to accumulate and rust. Big Ben trailers are loaded with standard features: a lever-action hitch, a 3-foot escape gate, and a middle sorting gate, rhino lining along the front edges, and a receiver hitch to tow another trailer, chute, or other equipment. Tough and practical. That's Big Ben Trailers, designed and built by a working cattleman. You can rely on and trust Big Ben Trailers for their durability and convenient features, reasonably priced for any rancher to afford. For a list of dealers and other design features, visit BigBenTrailers.com. Big Ben Trailers, built cattlemen tough.
Welcome back. The BRD Coordinated Agricultural Project is a multi-year research effort funded by USDA. The project involves researchers and experts working together to identify strategies that will help reduce the incidence of bovine respiratory disease. One often overlooked factor in the disease is how cattle are handled, as we learned from reporter Brian Baxter.
For cow-calf producers and feedlot managers, day-to-day experience shows the way calves are handled impacts whether they do or do not get sick with bovine respiratory disease.
Bovine respiratory disease is a complex disease that affects 80 to 90% of our health problem activities in America's feed yards and ranches. The way that animals are handled absolutely affects the incidence of BRD. BRD is a stress-related disease, and so we can lower stress and reduce BRD incidence.
So if animals get sick in part because they're stressed, then the people who care for them can help by doing what they can to ease the transition for calves every step of the way from ranch to feedlot.
And what we see on our database is that there's huge variation in BRD incidence across the industry. Lots of this variation is related to how the animals are handled at arrival, processing, and acclimation.
Low-stress handling methods involve understanding what cattle see and how the animals respond to pressure. A good cattle handler understands the working zone. That is the zone or area around an animal that's usually an elliptical or egg-shaped area that is a guide to handler positioning. A good handler will remain where cattle can see them. When a stockman is at the edge of the working zone with appropriate posture, only slight handler movements at appropriate angles are needed to control the animals in a low-stress manner. Cattle prefer to travel straight and to see their destination and source of guidance simultaneously.
Low-stress cattle handling is a concept that is not aimed at making animals gentle. It's aimed at convincing animals that handlers understand them. Low-stress cattle handling is a study of the relationship between people and animals in such that the people understand and appreciate the instincts of these prey species and can incorporate very effective communication when animals are being asked to move.
Just gaining trust of the animal so that that animal understands that you're not there to be a true predator, that you're there guiding their motion and that you're not there to hurt them. And if you can gain that trust, that's the most important thing.
Low-stress handling starts from the moment calves arrive.
They'll volunteer to go onto that scale themselves, then he weighs them, and then he puts them in a receiving pen. To put them in a receiving pen, he takes them past the point of where that pen is at, down the alley, and then allows them to come back to the pen voluntarily. So he's not pushing them down to the pen, they're actually going to that pen on their own. And that's an important part. Then once they're there, they always have fresh, clean water. They have prairie hay in the hay mangers, and some of them, if they've been long-haul cattle and they're going to get rest for 48 hours, most of the cattle here will get rested for 48 hours prior to processing, and they'll have ration in the bunk as well.
When they come in and they're on a truck for, depending on what state they're coming from, so many hours. When they rest, it gives the vaccine that they get whenever they're in the process barn, it gives the vaccine a better chance to work because they're not stressed. They'll come, they'll lay down, they'll stretch out, and then when they're processed, they're not stressed. Their vaccine works better for them to knock out BRD.
We'll have more on the importance of low-stress handling when we come back.
Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee. When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right, where it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots. When you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
telling the truth and being real, and feeding my family a home-cooked meal. That's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
Welcome back. Let's return to Nebraska to learn more about low-stress cattle handling and how it impacts animal health.
Research indicates that when low-stress handling methods are used, the result is a significant reduction in pulls of sick cattle and an increase in overall average daily gain throughout the animal's time in the feed yard.
In terms of reducing BRD, I think it's a positive effect because we're able to get cattle drinking and eating in their space a lot quicker, and we get them adapted to the pressure in which they're going to receive.
There's really no comparison between the performance between the cattle that are low stressed and then the other cattle, because they're more calm, and calm cattle perform better. Relaxed cattle perform better, and the low stress is what causes the cattle to be relaxed and calm. And as far as the sickness is, cattle that are stressed, just like a person, the more stressed you are, the more likely you are to get sick. Same with an animal.
Creating stress when cattle are handled affects the hormone complexes related to disease resistance. The main reason that animals become subject to BRD, serious BRD, is that they tend to hide early symptoms, and so we pull animals late in disease. The thing that scares us about the development of bovine respiratory disease, we used to think it took 72 hours for the animal to go from normal to very, very severe consolidation. And we've absolutely documented that a calf can start getting pneumonia on Monday morning, and by Tuesday morning AM, he could have almost irreversible consolidation in the bottom of his right apical lobe. It happens much more quickly than we ever dreamed. So it's really important that we get these animals taught and convinced to share their true state of health. The BRD cases that we see, the first thing, if it's an infectious bovine respiratory disease and we have some infection colonizing in the lung, first thing we see is the top of the head is not level with the withers. So cattle that feel good, they'll be level. Okay, so if you see an animal and the top of his head is down, then you have to move that animal and ask what his tolerance for exercise is. If it's just a vaccine reaction, if it's just a cytokine release from an exposure, if it's just a vaccine sweat, and you ask him to walk this far, he'll get better. Oh, I'm okay. If he does truly have pneumonia, and you ask him to go from this gate halfway down this fence, he'll say, could I wait and rest? I need some more oxygen, and you let him rest. So head posture, tolerance to exercise, and then their willingness to communicate and take direction are the first signs we see.
Taking steps to cut the rate of BRD is not only the responsibility of the feedlot crew, cow-calf producers, and the decisions they make in terms of handling, health, and nutrition set the tone for the lifelong health of their calves.
It's really important that the cow-calf industry understands that preparing cattle to be weaned, vaccinating cattle prior to disease exposure, paying attention to trace mineral nutrition, and preparing these animals for changes of address is a huge opportunity for them to create value within the industry.
Nutrition is important on the cow-calf side as well. How they prepare not only the calf, but keeping the cow in good nutrition. And so she maintains her milk, and the quality of her milk is good. When it comes time to prepare those calves for weaning, how they're weaned at the ranch is important. All these steps matter primarily because they're preparing, they're like the preschool, preparing that animal to come to kindergarten.
Cow-calf producers should have an interest and a responsibility to prepare their animals for the next customer in this segmented industry. Success and sustainability in a cow-calf production unit is based on repeat transactions. It's based on positive relationships between that producer and the eventual buyer.
Participating in a beef quality assurance or BQA program is one way cow-calf producers can ensure their calves are well prepared for the transition to the feedlot.
One of the issues that cattle buyer, the feedlot, wants to know is, what have you done to these calves? And so by following BQA protocol, writing the procedures down, telling that buyer what you've done to those calves is money in your pocket. Because in my experience, feedlots will say, are you BQA certified? And if you are, tell me what you've done to these calves. So those are ways that being BQA certified helps to increase the value of those calves.
With low-stress handling and more intensive observation of animal behavior throughout their lives, the incidence of BRD and death loss can be sharply reduced. From Nebraska, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
To find out more about these research efforts, visit the website brdcomplex.org or log on to our website at cattlementocattlemen.org. We'll have more right after this.
It's the official monthly publication of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The National Cattlemen is produced exclusively for NCBA members and includes coverage of the news and events affecting our industry. From Capitol Hill to the far side of cattle country, the National Cattlemen provides information NCBA members need. Every issue includes market analysis, feature stories, and practical management tips. Start receiving your copy of the National Cattlemen. Call 866-USA-BEEF or go online to beefusa.org and join today.
I'm an NCBA member.
I'm an NCBA member because I think as an advocacy group, NCBA has done some great things for our industry, and I kind of feel compelled to give back some of what they've done for us.
Because this organization is looking out for cattle producers.
They understand what makes our cow-calf business profitable.
Join me today.
Join me today.
Join NCBA today. Head to beefusa.org or call 866-USA-BEEF.
Lots of cowmen put a little extra into their calves, hoping it'll bring them another nickel at the sale, like preconditioning, early weaning, or for specialty markets. But how can the buyer trust your claim? Old vaccine bottles or your ratty tally book? Truth is, this little green ear tag will be all you need. That's what IMI Global does, third-party verification. The seal of approval, like the nutrition label on your Twinkie. Did I say Twinkie? IMIGlobal.com.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, long hauls, never-ending chores. The unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W. Trusted.
They don't call it Death Valley for nothing. And coyotes don't make a good pet. And living out here with the grizz and the deer, pretty much take what you get. And the mountains have shoulders like granite. They're big, and they make their own rules. So take what you need, but you better pay heed, 'cause a mountain don't tolerate fools. And the wind is the moan of the prairie that haunts and bedevils the plains, the soul-stealing kind that can fray a man's mind, till only a whimper remains. You can stand in the canyon's cathedral where water and sky never rest, and know in your bones that the meek on their own will never inherit the West. It's big and it's wild and it's lonesome, where the dream of first blood still survives, and it beckons to those who can bid adios to the comfort of 8 to 5 lives. So come, all you brave caballeros, cinch up and reach down inside till you feel the heat, and then take a deep seat, 'cause the West, boys, she ain't broke to ride.
You may climb on her back if you do your best, 'cause she's gonna put your true grit to the test. For the West, boys, she ain't broke to ride. For the West, boys, she ain't broke to ride.
Thanks, Baxter. For this week's Legacy Photos, we head back to the Morgan family and their ranch in beautiful Hawaii. Don't forget, you can send us your own legacy photos by visiting our website at cattlementocattlemen.org. Include your ranch or farm name and hometown, and we may use them on a future episode. Next week on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll visit South Dakota to see how one family ranching operation is working together to protect the health of their animals. We'll also see how New Holland Agriculture is providing solutions for cattlemen and women by helping them put up high-quality feed more efficiently. And we'll visit a stewardship winner in the Nebraska Sandhills. Plus, we'll share more cattle industry news and enjoy another visit from our friend Baxter Black. Well, that's all for this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on RFD TV.